unexplainable tragedies, on-set clashes, and a passion for poetry, Val Kilmer will always be remembered for his legendary performances in films like Tombstone and Heat, but there's a lot about him that you didn't know. Born to Gladys and Eugene Kilmer in December 1959, Val Kilmer enjoyed a quiet yet memorable childhood in Chatsworth, a suburban town in Los Angeles, California. But while his early years were filled with happy memories, life as he knew it soon came crashing down. At only 9 years old, Val's world was upended when his parents divorced, a life-altering event that left him with deep emotional wounds. He told The Telegraph in 2004, "It was obvious to me at the time that this was the biggest thing I'd been through. It was seen as what it was, an odd event, that something bad had happened." Following the divorce, Val and his two brothers lived with their father, a situation that caused him an even greater deal of stress. He explained, "Things didn't go well between my father and me for a very long time." In 1977, Kilmer experienced tragedy when his younger brother, Wesley, who was only 15 at the time, drowned in a hot tub after suffering an epileptic seizure. The unexpected loss left a gaping hole in the family, lingering in the shadows even years after. Kilmer reflected in his Prime Video documentary, Val.
My confidant had disappeared into dust, and our family was never the same again.
For Kilmer particularly, Wesley's death was a tough pill to swallow. He told the New York Times, "I didn't really get back to Earth until about 2 or 3 years after my brother died." But while Wesley's death left a lingering ache in Kilmer's heart, he was determined to keep his memory alive. In his interview with The Telegraph, Kilmer revealed Wesley's interest in art, describing him as a genius who earned the admiration of many. The veteran actor also told the New York Times he believed Wesley would have been one of the best filmmakers of his time. Despite the heartache, Kilmer chose to look on the bright side, accepting his brother's death as a chance to learn about the many complexities of life. He added, "I miss him and miss his things. I have his art up. I like to think about what he would have created. I'm still inspired by him." In high school, Kilmer discovered his passion for acting, an interest that clearly shaped the rest of his life. Though he initially considered applying to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in London, Kilmer eventually settled for Juilliard, where he made history as the youngest person to be admitted into the drama division. It was here that Kilmer laid the foundation for what would become a successful career. He told the Juilliard Journal during a 2005 visit to the school, "In a way, the extremely high standards and the activity of the school I'm sure were good for me, because I was forced to really challenge myself about my very life. You know, what I believe about life and death." While Kilmer reportedly harbored some negative feelings about his time at Juilliard, he remained deeply grateful for the efforts that went into training them to become world-class acts. He added, "It's a tremendous sacrifice for most of the teachers. It costs a great deal to give that gift, and it's something that's really precious." Similarly, Kilmer himself left a lasting legacy at his alma mater. Following news of his death, Juilliard paid tribute to the actor, praising his undeniable talents and strides in the industry. The school wrote in a touching Instagram post, "We extend our heartfelt condolences to his family, friends, colleagues, and all who were touched by his artistry." In the early years of his career, Kilmer famously turned down a role in Francis Ford Coppola's 1983 film The Outsiders, choosing instead to honor an existing commitment to the Broadway play The Slab Boys. The Outsiders, on the other hand, went on to become a cult classic, launching several of its stars, including Tom Cruise and Rob Lowe, into Hollywood fame. But this wasn't the only early opportunity Kilmer passed on. He also declined an offer to appear in David Lynch's Blue Velvet.
"What kind of beer do you like?" Heineken? That Pabst Blue Ribbon!
Years later, Kilmer explained that he turned down the script because he found it overly sexual and felt too shy to take on the role. He told Attitude magazine, "I was very naive when I was younger. I said no to a ton of really wonderful directors, and looking back now, I can't remember the reasons why." Kilmer, however, had one major regret with the film, missing the opportunity to work with the movie's lead actor, Isabella Rossellini. He joked, "I had a crazy crush on her, so I would have done it for free." Kilmer was raised in the Christian Science faith by his parents. Unsurprisingly, the religion's belief system deeply shaped his worldview, influencing the way he approached life, and particularly his health. Because of his faith, the actor denied rumors of having cancer for many years, admitting to it only during a 2017 Reddit Q&A with fans, writing, "I did have a healing of cancer, but my tongue is still swollen, although healing all the time."
You have to make the choice. When you have this eye problem with you, this or it.
Kilmer, however, stuck to his religious beliefs, refusing to associate himself with the diagnosis, instead calling it the suggestion of throat cancer. In an interview with Entertainment Tonight, Kilmer elaborated on this belief, explaining that Christian scientists avoid identifying themselves with diseases to avoid manifesting them. He explained to the outlet, Rather than say I have it or possess it, there is a claim, there is a suggestion that this is a fact. Similarly, Kilmer was initially not on board with the idea of getting medical cancer treatment, instead choosing to lean into his faith for healing. But this worried his children, who were eventually able to convince him otherwise. He told the outlet, "I just didn't want to experience their fear, which was profound. I would have had to go away, and I just didn't want to be without them." The actor subsequently underwent chemotherapy, radiation, and a tracheostomy, an invasive surgery that altered Kilmer's voice permanently.
You can be my wingman anytime.
During his decades-long run in Hollywood, Kilmer's reputation preceded him. Though he was an undeniable talent, the iconic actor was reportedly difficult to work with. While filming 2000's Red Planet, Kilmer struggled to get along with his co-star Tom Sizemore, resulting in a heated altercation between the two men. In his memoir, By Some Miracle I Made It Out of There, Sizemore recounted the experience, noting that things took a turn for the worse between them when Kilmer bragged about getting a higher pay. According to the memoir, Kilmer reportedly shouted at Sizemore, "I'm making $10 million on this, you're only making $2 million. But actors were not the only people Kilmer struggled to get along with. John Frankenheimer, who directed The Island of Dr. Moreau, once expressed his dislike for Kilmer. He revealed in an interview with Entertainment Weekly, "I don't like Val Kilmer, I don't like his work ethic, and I don't want to be associated with him ever again." Similarly, Joel Schumacher, director of Batman Forever, recounted an altercation between him and Kilmer that led to them not speaking for 2 weeks. Schumacher said in an interview with Time magazine, "It was bliss. I didn't have to listen to the outpourings of a damaged megalomaniac." In his documentary, Kilmer acknowledged his past behavior while openly reflecting on his reputation, saying,
I deny none of this and have no regrets because I've lost and found parts of myself that I never knew existed.
Among his many accomplishments, Kilmer was a devoted humanitarian, touching countless lives through his commitment to nonprofit causes. For instance, in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina in 2005, Kilmer joined several other celebrities to support relief efforts for those affected by the disaster. He told ComingSoon.net in 2008, "I tried to do what I could after Katrina and made several trips, just trying to help out." Beyond disaster relief, Kilmer was also passionate about making a lasting impact through education and advocacy. To drive this passion, he founded the Twain Mania Foundation, a nonprofit organization aimed at inspiring young people through art and education. Inspired by the teachings and words of Mark Twain, Kilmer sought to encourage young people to embrace unity and resist all forms of oppression. He explained to The Hollywood Reporter, "You can be the most liberal or conservative, but his style of loving America is like a secret weapon to use in schools because everybody loves him." Kilmer also frequently collaborated with AmeriCares, a global nonprofit organization focused on providing medical care to those affected by poverty, natural disasters, or wars. After news of his death broke, AmeriCares released a statement honoring his contributions to their organization. The organization shared on Facebook, "Today, we remember Val Kilmer and his philanthropic efforts with AmeriCares. Through his previous collaboration, he helped improve healthcare access for disaster-affected populations and underserved communities." Kilmer might be best known for his acting career, but he was never afraid to express himself in other ways. In the 1980s, he released My Eden's Afterburns, a collection of poems exploring a myriad of themes, including love. In the years that followed, even amid his success as a Hollywood star, Kilmer remained open about his passion for poetry. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Kilmer once said, "Poetry is a very subjective and intimate expression. It's literally your heartbeat, your rhythm, the song of your soul. It's super concentrated. It's a dense piece of yourself." In addition to My Eden Afterburns, Kilmer is also the author of Cowboy Poet Outlaw Madman, a collection of his poems released in 2021. Kilmer's talents, however, did not stop at writing, as he was also great at singing. Singing was a skill he put to use in The Doors, a 1991 biopic that saw him take the role of lead singer Jim Morrison.
They don't want me, they want my dad.
An avid method actor, Kilmer immersed himself in the role, spending countless hours rehearsing the band's songs. In his later years, he also turned to painting, frequently sharing his artwork with fans on social media. While Kilmer's final years saw him step back from acting, he continued to find solace in art. He wrote on his website, "When one thing is taken, though, another is given. With little voice, my creative juices were boiling over and pouring out of me. I started creating again, painting, writing, anything I could. I felt the art healing me." Kilmer was an accomplished actor, but being a dad was his truest joy. He was a proud dad to his 2 children, Mercedes and Jack, whom he shared with his ex-wife, Joanne Wally. Despite the demands of his acting career, Kilmer maintained a close bond with his kids, even well into their adulthood. Mercedes shared in a 2020 interview with People, "My dad is such a smart and creative person that I love hanging out with, even if he wasn't my dad too." Kilmer, in turn, described his children as really brilliant, adding that he enjoyed watching them grow. He told People, "I am just madly, wildly entertained by them. them. My only gripe is that I never see them enough, so I never get enough of the wild entertainment that everyone else gets. Beyond being a devoted father, Kilmer actively supported his children's careers and frequently collaborated with them. In 2020, he starred alongside Mercedes in Pay Dirt, acting as her on-screen father. In addition to this, Mercedes was credited as an associate producer on Kilmer's documentary, Val. Similarly, Jack Kilmer teamed up with his family on the project, doubling as both an associate producer and the film's narrator. With nothing but memories left to hold on to, Mercedes and Jack couldn't be prouder of their dad and the lasting legacy he left behind. They wrote in a statement following his death, "Thank you for honoring our extraordinary father's memory. We are so proud of him and honored to see his legacy celebrated."